The relationship between Rado and India is quite an interesting one. Back in the 1980s, it was a coveted timepiece for businessmen who traveled abroad and brought a Rado watch back with them to show their peers that they had arrived in life. A little later, at the turn of the century, Rado became a mainstay at Indian weddings, with wedding trousseaus not being complete without an iconic Rado in it. So, how did it all happen, and what sets Rado apart from its competitors? This is Siddhant, and welcome to a brand new episode of Let's Do Shots. To understand how Rado became the brand it is today, we have to go all the way back to how it started. The founder of the brand was gifted a watch which was very close to his heart. However, over the course of a few years, the watch started deteriorating with regular wear and tear. This clearly upset him because when you're gifted something from someone special, you want it to last a lifetime. So he did just that, started making watches which could last a lifetime without any wear and tear. But the love affair with India did not start right away. It wasn't until the 1980s that the brand started becoming popular in the country. At that time, the watches weren't even imported in the country. Businessmen and NRIs who traveled abroad were the only ones who got their hands on Rado and brought it back to India. It was a statement, it was a symbol of wealth, and it was a gesture saying, hey, guess what? I have arrived in life. The brand recognized this trend early on, and one of the smartest things they did at this moment was to set up a customer service center in the country. Rado didn't have a single store in India, but they set up these service centers regardless so that users who brought their watches from abroad didn't have to worry about their watches not being serviced. They were the first watch brand to do this. No shops, but widely accessible service centers. And it was a super smart way to tap into the demand that was being created in rich Indian communities. This was just the beginning, and over the years, the brand kept gaining popularity until it was finally launched officially in 2003. At that time, there was a huge demand for gold watches in India. Keeping that in mind, a special regional range was created to cater to the Indian design sensibilities, and the Indian consumers lapped it up. However, this range was very different from the ceramic range, which was very popular globally. If they were to stay in the country for the long term and truly succeed, they had to create demand for their international range here. They had to create a market for all the design innovations happening globally and not be restricted to just the regional tastes and preferences. This is when Rado moved from the gold, shimmery, and steel watches that were initially launched to their globally recognized range of ceramics in blacks, whites, and greys. Lo and behold, people loved that too, and the transformation was complete. Today, India is in the top 3 markets in the world for Rado, with over 200 points of sale. All of this would not have been possible without their focus on design and innovation. Now, you've heard how luxury watch brands speak about themselves. They talk about their legacy, their heritage, their past. But Rado is different. They don't talk about past accolades. Instead, they are very futuristic in their approach and talk about how they are innovating for the future. This is where the materials they use in their products become so important. Rado was the first brand to pioneer scratch-resistant technology. It's not like the watches won't get scratched, but they've designed it in a way that it is highly scratch-resistant. In fact, the brand is quite popular for letting customers test this at their stores with sharp objects before they make the purchase, putting their money where their mouth is. The brand was also the first to bring ceramics to the world of watchmaking. You know what else is made of ceramic? Spaceships. The same properties which keep the surface of rockets safe in space keep Rado watches safe on your wrists as well. All of this ties back into why the founder of the brand started this in the first place, to make watches which last a lifetime. He once very famously said, if we can imagine it, we can make it, and if we can make it, we will. These sentiments are clearly reflected in the brand's journey, where they've thrived on design and material as its two strongest pillars. It is a mix of all these elements that eventually made this iconic brand the go-to gift for weddings in India. Rado timepieces are an integral part of Indian weddings. You go down south to Kerala, and it is almost unheard of a wedding where a Rado was not gifted. The watches have become a lot more than just gifts. They have become symbols of timelessness. Just like weddings signify a bond that lasts forever and everlasting love, the watches are also a reflection of a timepiece that lasts forever.